In 2013, the City of Newark adopted a sustainability action plan which can make Newark one of the country's most sustainable and environmentally responsible cities. Currently, the Office of Sustainability is 100% grant funded under BCDC and therefore is not permanent. As mayor, so 2 questions here. What will you do to make sure the plan is implemented? I think you both said already that you support it. But what will you do to make sure it's implemented? And what would be your priority areas? And for the audience, there are 5 priority areas now. There's reducing toxic pollution, using clean energy, reducing greenhouse gases, reducing waste, going towards zero waste, making sure everybody has access to healthy food, and addressing stormwater issues. So what will you do to make sure the plan is implemented, and what would be your priority areas under the plan? I think Mr. Jeffries, you're.
Well, again, I spoke a little bit earlier about some of the budgetary challenges we have, and that's first and foremost. Because in order to implement these plans, we're going to have to invest resources. And we can't invest resources if we don't manage our budget better. Again, the City of Newark, from conservative estimates that have been reported, in 2014 faces at least a $30 million deficit. And so that means we got to find $30 million just to keep the services and programs we have right now. And what we have right now is not enough. So we have to be able to manage our budget in a much better and a much more effective way. Cutting fat, cutting expenses, cutting waste, cutting abuse, whether it's the watershed, whether it's things that were reported over the weekend at the fire department, whether it's the council and clerk budget being 6 times the size of the next highest city in the state of New Jersey. We have a lot of fraud, abuse, and waste we have to cut in terms of our city budget so we can make these right kind of investments, including implementation of our sustainability plan. So that's fundamental. In terms of my priorities, we have to be aggressive, as I've said repeatedly now, to push the port, to push the DEP, to push the federal EPA to reduce the toxins into the air we breathe. Because if we don't do that, we can't even open our mouth in the City of Newark without putting our life at risk. And so we have to push them to be aggressive and to remediate what's happening with these old and dirty trucks. What's happening with these Superfund sites that are not being remediated, because that simply means to live in this City of Newark, we're exposing ourselves to a high level of asthma, to a high level of cancer. And so that has to be first and foremost. Clean energy is critical. It's not only connected to how we grow more jobs for Newarkers in the green economy, and I talked earlier about that, it's also another budget management strategy. Right, so if our lighting and if our heating and our utilities are more green efficient, that means we have more money not only for sustainability, but to invest in more cops on our neighborhoods, more job training for our adults, more programs for our children as well. I'm also a big believer in empowering Newarkers with information so that they can make choices for themselves and for their families around wellness, around nutrition, so that they have the information and the agency they need to move their family into a more healthy future.
Mr. Jeffries, would you make the Office of Sustainability a permanent entity within the Newark's governmental structure?
That would absolutely be my goal. But we have to be candid. We have to be very candid. As you said, sir, it's fully grant funded now. We have a $30 million deficit right now. We don't have enough cops. We don't have enough job training programs. We don't have enough after-school programs for our kids. We don't have enough code enforcement. We don't have enough snow removal. We don't have enough anything. Taxes have been raised 40%. And so the responsible answer say that would absolutely be my goal.
So we have to begin to do something and target in those neighborhoods the kind of resources that we need to reduce the amount of kids that are getting involved in trouble and crime as they get older.
Mr. Baraka, are you prepared to make the Office of Sustainability permanent? Mr. Jeffries said that would be a goal. How do you feel about this?
Well, I believe that whatever we need to do, I would agree totally that the Office of Sustainability needs to be a permanent office. I agree with that, and we need to find the funds. Somewhere we found the funds, the mayor found the funds to create somebody that's in charge of all of the nonprofit organizations. We need to find the funds to make sure that the Office of Sustainability is permanent in the city because the ramifications of it is very urgent.